Part 1. The Misunderstood Silence. When a relationship hits a wall and someone gets hurt, human beings react in very different ways. Some people yell. Some people cry. Some people immediately demand a resolution. But there is a specific group of people who do something entirely different. When they are deeply hurt, they simply go quiet. They withdraw. They shut down the entire system. Society has a very negative label for this. We call it the silent treatment. We assume the quiet person is being passive-aggressive. We think they are trying to punish the other person or manipulate the situation by withholding their love. But if you are someone who goes quiet when you are hurting, you know that isn't the truth at all. You aren't trying to punish anyone. In fact, your silence isn't a weapon. It is a shield. And today we are going to look at the quiet, often painful psychology of why your mind decides to turn off the lights. Part 2. The Overloaded Circuit Board. To understand the silence, we have to understand what happens inside the brain during an argument. Psychologists call it emotional flooding. Imagine a highly advanced circuit board. It can process a massive amount of information, but if a surge of electricity hits it all at once, the system doesn't speed up. It trips the breaker. It shuts down completely to prevent a catastrophic fire. When you get hurt, your brain is flooded with a cocktail of adrenaline, fear, sadness, and betrayal. It is so overwhelming that the language center of your brain, the part responsible for finding the right words, literally goes offline. You don't go quiet because you have nothing to say. You go quiet because you have a million things to say and no possible way to organize them. The pain is too vast to fit into the tiny, fragile boxes of human language. So you retreat into the only space that feels big enough to hold it. Silence. Part 3. The Echoes of the Past. This mechanism doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Your brain learned to do this, and usually it learned it a very long time ago. For many people, going quiet is an intelligent survival response developed in childhood. Think back to your early years. When you tried to express your sadness or anger, what happened? Were you told you were being too dramatic? Were you ignored? Or worse, did speaking up cause the adults in your life to become even more angry and volatile? If opening your mouth consistently made the situation more dangerous, your young brain wrote a permanent line of code. My voice does not fix things. My voice makes things worse. You learned that being invisible was the only way to be safe. So now, as an adult, the moment a conflict triggers that same sense of unsafety, your brain defaults to its oldest, most reliable bunker. You pull up the drawbridge. You go completely still. Because stillness means survival. Part 4. Fear of the Monster. There is another, deeply misunderstood reason why people go quiet, and it comes from a place of profound, almost tragic care. When you are deeply hurt, you feel a massive storm of anger and grief building inside you. But because you are highly empathetic, you are terrified of that storm. You are afraid that if you open your mouth, you won't just communicate your pain, you will unleash a monster. You fear that you will say something so sharp, so destructive, that it will burn the relationship to the ground. You are quiet because you are trying to contain the explosion inside your own body rather than letting the shrapnel hit the person you love. It takes an agonizing amount of energy to hold that storm inside. You are suffocating on the words you refuse to say, simply because you are trying to protect the very relationship that is currently causing you pain. It is an act of containment, not an act of cruelty. Part 5. Bridging the Silence. If you are the partner of someone who goes quiet, you need to understand this. Do not try to break down the door. When you demand that they just talk to you, you are turning up the pressure in a system that is already overheating. Instead of breaking down the door, slide a note underneath it. Tell them, "I know you need space right now. I am not leaving, and I will be right here when you are ready to speak." Give them the safety to process. And if you are the person who goes quiet, I want you to hear this. Your silence protected you when you were small. It was a brilliant defense mechanism, but you are not small anymore. The bunker that kept you safe is now keeping you isolated. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to pause. But eventually, you have to let the words out. If this gentle breakdown of the human mind brought you comfort, consider subscribing. We are building a space where you never have to face the dark alone. Until next time, be gentle with your silence and brave with your words.